Okay, let's take a look at NIO stock today. It's had quite a nice pump already. Where might we expect the stock to go next? Let's draw, as we always do, a parallel channel in here so we can make sense of the price action. And if we draw it up to these highs, or perhaps even as low as these sort of highs, something like this, we can see the range that the stock has been trading in, and you have tagged at the bottom of the parallel channel here back at the start of March, and we have reversed higher. So that's a very bullish sign for the stock. And typically the pattern with parallel channels is you will reach the bottom of the parallel channel and then head to the top. And once you reach the top of the parallel channel, you'll head to the bottom, and then you'll go back up to the top. This is usually how these kind of patterns play out. Now, it can take some time to get back up to the top of a parallel channel such as this, but you would anticipate that at some point the stock may trade as high as $8.6 roughly, which from the current levels would be a further 50% move or so. So quite the potential outperformance there. Now, worth noting, the indicator shows we've been in a bearish trend on NIO for quite some time. It looks to me like this could in fact be the start of a new bullish regime coming. There's no buy signal here, but that doesn't mean it isn't necessarily a good buying opportunity. And typically speaking, you can have fake outs as you had back in March of 2025 when you do come above these lines here, these EMAs, before heading back lower. But I think since we've tagged the trend line, the parallel channel, I think the base case has to be that you are going higher here. And I would sort of expect NIO to, at the very least, get to the midpoint of the parallel channel around $6.5 or so. Technically speaking, it does not look like a bad chart to me at all. And if we take a look at NIO over the SPY, over the S&P, you can see we've put in some kind of a double low here, a double bottom potentially, which could signal that you're going to have quite some outperformance over the S&P, even if we just say, you know what, I think the moves up here back in 2020 were just an extreme edge case, parabolic move that you're not necessarily going to repeat. Even keeping that in mind, we may get as high as levels that you've seen previously in 2019 and 2023 compared to the S&P, which could be outperformance of around 300% on NIO compared to the S&P. Now, that would indicate, if you were to get up to these levels, that on the normal NIO chart, you may in fact get even above this particular parallel channel top. Perhaps it may take some time to break out from there. You probably will tag there and come back down. So if I had to guess a path for the stock going forwards, perhaps you have something along these lines. You know, you head back up here, then you're going to get some kind of a bit of a sell-off before maybe heading higher and breaking through and potentially reaching, you know, some new highs, getting some kind of a, let's say if the S&P were to be flat, we'd need a 300% move. That's a big ask, but if the S&P were to go down considerably, then you might not need such a large move. NIO could be getting back, you know, over the course of a year or two to, I don't know, maybe $20, something like this, or even a bit lower, which would be a really, really massive outperformance. Might not go quite as high as that. And of course, if we take another look at the NIO over S&P chart, if we want to remain cautious, we don't have to target highs as high as these levels. Perhaps we only target sort of down here on the ratio, something along these lines, and that would give you much lower outperformance, but around 40% or so, which in my mind would probably correlate to tagging at the top of the parallel channel on the regular NIO chart. So that would probably be where I exit the trade personally, but there is the potential in theory for some pretty mega upside on NIO, you know, if you were to get back to these prior levels on the relative valuation. So just keep that in mind. If you are in the stock, I hope that's very helpful for you. But yeah, quite an optimistic look on this stock. I don't really know much about the fundamentals, but if you have a turnaround in a high beta name such as this, then the outperformance can get quite nutty. Regardless, subscribe as always for more daily videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.